Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. This is your brother, Sean Ali. Here, Supreme Health and Wellness by Sean Ali. And as always, family, I thank each and every one of you who tunes in, shares some of your very valuable time and energy. I appreciate you, family. Thank you. And as always, I pray that these brief words find you and your loved ones and your family in the best of your wellness, the best of your health, the best of your life. And I pray that it is on purpose, because life is on purpose. And when we are living and leading a purposeful life, we are truly living and leading a blessed life, man. So, in that note, I want to share some words that I pray may be helpful to us in our journey, whether we are healing, whether we are getting healthier, whether we are getting stronger, whether we are on our way to enjoying our abundant life, right? What I'm about to share can definitely benefit all of us, no matter what stage we are in. And I want to talk about how to think to live. How to think to live. And I do have some books, family, of course. If I can find them real quick. I don't know where I put them at. But yeah, I do have some books. Hold on. The Science of Thought, The Art of Thinking, a manual for rising above emotions, and The God Factory, Your Brain, Neuroscience for the Mind of God in You, right? And these are the basis for that, because we know we are what we think. The scripture says, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? So we know that thought is the basis. And when we're looking at our physical body, the physical body, the main job is to contract. That's one of its main job, is to contract, cause contractions and release. And that's the movement, whether it's the heartbeat, whether it's the digestive system and peristalsis, whether it's us walking and climbing, and no matter what the movement is, the basis of it is the muscles contract and then they release. So that's one of the purposes of the body. When we are looking, the contractions happen off of what is called an action potential, right? And the action potential, this is, like I said, the electrical spark. So if you watch one of those YouTube videos where they have like a piece of fish and the fish is dead, and they might throw like some salt or soy sauce on it, and it'll start to move, you'll see those muscle contractions. That's simply that electrical spark that's firing that causes the muscles to contract, right? And once they release, that's the movement. So this electrical spark is called the action potential. Now we have two types of muscles. We have voluntary and we have involuntary, right? So we know we have those type of muscles. The involuntary, this is the heart, the digestive organs, all of the internal organs, right? All of these internal organs that we cannot move on purpose. The voluntary muscles, this is the striated. This is what connects the arms, legs, right? Head, right? This is how we go from A to B, how we move ourselves. But they're both happening from this action potential. That's how the muscles move, that electrical spark. Now, with these involuntary muscles, we don't control it. But if you stop moving, your arms, your legs, and your head, they don't move. The only thing that will move on your body is the involuntary muscles, those organs and tissues that we cannot move on purpose. But when it comes time to move on purpose, whether it's to pick something up to eat it or drink it, whether it's to pick some weight up to exercise, whether it's to go to work, well, no matter what it is, when it comes time to voluntarily to move yourself, this action potential, it comes from our thoughts. So you have to now, because this is what moves our voluntary muscles. Otherwise, they don't move. So you have to produce the thought that creates that action potential that sends that electrical spark down the spinal column to those peripheral neurons that will move the arm, leg, arm, head to do whatever you wanted it to do. So when we look at the importance of the thought process of us being able to think properly, because this is how we move. So when we need to be something, this is the thought produces that electrical spark that moves us into it. When we want to go somewhere, whenever we want to do something physically, the thought is at the process. Now, let's go to thought real quick, because this is the effect of thought, right? Now, when we're looking, we know, of course, everything comes from the brain, right? So we know the central nervous system, right? That's the brain, and that's the spinal column, right? So the messages come from the brain down to the body, right? So when we're looking in psychology, we have something called psychosomatic, right? Psyche is the mind, soma is the body. So this is going into the connection between the mind and the body. So when we're looking, the mind moves the body, because if you stop moving the voluntary muscles, they don't move. So psychosomatic looks at the connection. And when we're looking at the mind, of course, we're looking at thoughts, because that's what comes from the mind. So it's looking at the thoughts that connect the mind from the body. So you will have two categories that this fall into. You will have psychosomatic order, or you will have psychosomatic disorder. Right? So this is the two categories that the thought will produce the type of connection with the body. It will produce order or disorder. So when we're looking at the body and the brain in neuroscience, listen, the God factory, your brain, neuroscience for the mind of God in you. This is where I'm getting this from. It's a science book. It's filled up with the information to show you where I'm getting it from. Bam, right? So when we're looking at this understanding, what type of thoughts? Okay, so of course we're going to have good thoughts and we're going to have bad thoughts, right? So when we're looking at psychosomatic disorder, right? Hate, envy, anger, right? All of these type of thoughts, they produce the psychosomatic disorder. And what happens is we have what is called the HP. So when we're looking at how the body operates, we're looking at the hypothalamus and the pituitary glands, right? So they form the connection between the brain and the body. Most of the direction is coming from these two tissues. So when we're looking at psychosomatic disorder, and we're looking at what it does to the body. Okay, when we produce these type of thoughts, it produces a disorder in the body, and it makes the body go on the HPA connection, which is the adrenal gland. And this is also the stress response. This is also fight or flight. This is also under the autonomic nervous system. So this means we are not in charge. So this is from this, you produce or cause physical ailments. Of course, the blood pressure raises. So you have elevated blood pressure, high blood pressure, right? You constrict the arteries. So now you're having bad blood flow, and you can possibly lead to a cardiac arrest, right? We are into that fight or flight distress response. So that means all of these internal organs are shut down because they aren't needed in the stress response. So the digestive system, the reproductive system, the lymphatic system, all of these systems are shut down under the fight this response. And it's just simply produced from us creating these thoughts, right? Because this is where the thoughts take the body physically on that HPA axis, right? So now we are not in charge because we have put ourselves under the autonomic nervous system. So we are under this response, and now we're just a passenger, can become a passenger in our own body. Now, a lot of us experience this. Man, a lot of us are masters in psychosomatic disorder because this world has caused us, a lot of us, to be angry, to hate, to despair, to envy, to be jealous, to have doubt, all of these thoughts that trigger the psychosomatic disorder. And we physically make ourselves sick. We render ourselves powerless. We make ourselves incapable of being healthy, of healing, and enjoying abundant life. Now, on the other side of this, we have psychosomatic order. And this will be the good thoughts, right? Because now we're looking at keeping the power here in the brain. See, all of this takes us to the adrenal glands, the HPA axis. But when we have good thoughts, see, we leave that power in the brain because oxytocin, hold on. See, when we're looking, oxytocin, which is the love hormone, comes from the brain. Serotonin, our mood enhancer, comes from the brain, right? Endorphins, our painkillers, they come from the pituitary gland, the HP. They come from right here, right? So when we're looking at these good hormones, they come, dopamine comes from the brain. So when we produce these good thoughts, love, God, right? Happy, content. See, these create the psychosomatic order. So where the psychosomatic disorder makes us weak, makes us imbalanced, makes us susceptible to disease, sickness, and premature death. Psychosomatic order, it makes us healthy, it makes us strong, and it puts us on the trajectory of not just healing, but once we become healed, now we become healthier. And once we become healthier, then we become stronger. And once we become stronger, now we are on that journey to enjoying abundant life. You are what you think. You are what you think. How to think to live. See, we control this by our thoughts. So we will control what frequency, electrically, chemically, hormonally, our body is on by the thoughts we produce. Because the psychosomatic, that's the connection, the mind-body connection. Well, the mind is producing the thoughts. And the connection that it produces is determined by the type of thought that we think. Okay, I have some science books because we are experts in psychosomatic disorder. But we are limited in the good words. See, we know all because those are exciting and fun. And the world is giving us, feeding us the bad examples, right? We have to search for the good ones. So when we're looking, I created some science, family. The Science of Thought and the Art of Thinking, a manual for rising above emotions. This is a science book that takes us, like I said, into the science of thought, how these thought processes are created, the effects that they can have, and how we can train the brain to creating the good thoughts. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam, he taught us that our brains are created to think right. See, our brains are created to think right, to produce these thoughts that's giving us oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, dopamine, that's keeping us healthy, strong, and empowered. Our brains are not created to think about hate, anger, envy, jealousy, doubt, and all of these other low words that create psychosomatic disorder and makes us weak and unhealthy and suffering premature death. Because you are what you think. How to think to live. Woo! Listen. You are what you think. How to think to live. And look, see, we got the thought. We move ourselves. This is where our body, all of the body parts, and this is the neurons in the brain that controls them. So this is our motor and this is our sensory. So for you to be able to wag your tongue, right? This is where the neurons are at in our brain that allows you to wag your tongue. See, that's your lips, your mouth, your nose, your fingers going into your legs, your knees, you're going it down into your toes. This is the neurons that allow you to wiggle your toes are right there. See? So in the thought process that we create, this is how it determines how you move those toes and what you do with that movement. So you will either be doing nothing or you will be doing something. I just want to show you how fun and easy it is for us to take charge of our post in all temple property in view, to walk our post in a perfect manner, keeping always on the alert. Those are thought processes, family. And if we understand how our brain works, it will be easy peasy for us to say, being it is, kun fa kun, right? So, like I said, I just wanted to come with some science that will show us how fun and easy it is for us to do this. The God Factory, your brain, neuroscience for the mind of God and you. The Science of Thought and the Art of Thinking, a manual for rising above emotions. So listen, available on Amazon. You can get your copies, family, or you can contact us and you can get them directly from us. You are what you think. How to think to live. Man, life, we know that struggle is ordained. We know that there's resistance. There's pressure. There's these forces that may seem like they are against us as we move because they are just natural forces like gravity. So if I lift my leg up, it's a natural force pulling it back down. right? So if I'm moving through walking, there's the pressure in the atmosphere is naturally on me, right? So these are forces that are seemingly against me, but are designed to make me stronger. So the more I fight or exercise against gravity, I become stronger. Right? So now I might can't stop that gravitational pull, but now I can become stronger than it. And I can move faster than its pull on me. And then it's attraction on me. The same thing with the atmospheric pressure. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that there's 14.7 pounds of atmospheric pressure per square inch of our body. And this is one of the things that makes obesity dangerous, because we increase the surface space, which increases the atmospheric pressure. So now if I control my weight, if I control my muscle, uh, um, I build lean muscle mass, right? Which forms that stronger barrier. Now, when I go to move, see, that atmospheric pressure isn't that great upon me because I've made my body stronger than it. So we have these natural resistant forces that are designed to make us stronger and grow into our power. So struggle is ordained. It's a struggle for us to learn to walk. We fight those gravities as a baby. We learning how to stand up, and it's pulling us down, and eventually we conquer it. We are what we think, man. How to think to live. I just want to show you how fun and easy it is to share some of my science that I have for us. Available on Amazon, family. Get your copies now, or you can call, get it from us. Supreme Health and Wellness by Sean Ali. So, family, I thank you all for tuning in. I'm your brother, Sean Ali. Here, Supreme Health and Wellness. Listen, I pray that these words were delivered in the spirit, received in the spirit that I was striving to deliver them in, which is the spirit of your brother, the spirit of love, and of course, and always in the spirit and in the name of God. So, family, I leave you in the spirit of peace with some words of peace. I say, Namaste Hotep, power to the people. Salam alaikum. Peace.